وقتها زين عندك في الأوفيس هذا هالكلام.
I'm not available at 1. Can you come at 2? Nope, no. You're going to have to find a day when you're available at 1. Yeah, not 2 seconds. Okay, I don't get 2 o'clock for the next try to sell a realtor. I feel like you're a realtor in this area. And you're like, can I come to the property too? No, that's not a good time. Sorry, I'm booked for 2 o'clock.
يلا
We're supposed to work our way back up.
We put those iron rails on both sides in order to do the pressure. Do you know what that is?
I hope we have everybody.
Jessica. Is everyone almost here?
Blaming George Michael's on that thing right now.
Well, you might want to.
Then I'll buy one.
You're in my face.
You could play me some. Conrad, you know that one song?
Let's go, Peters.
Alright guys, quick, go!
All of this was connected at one point because this was all part of Mount Moriah, because we're dealing with this take materials outside and then we're going in direction to the north. But it seems like they stopped taking materials from here because of the lower materials on this side of here. You can see that it's more turbulent. Found the assistant on the left-hand side. There was most likely for the people who were looking at the sanctuary area, but also it was one of the elements that point to the fact that this place right here, in front of the tomb, was used as a place of worship by the Byzantine Christians in the 5th century. The reason why the Byzantine Christians in the 5th century used this place as a place of worship, we don't know. Because there's nothing written about the reason why they make this place. But they certainly worship the Lord here, and they left their mark here. On the outside of the tomb, right over the entrance, you can see a big semicircle that reveals the center of the Byzantine era chapel that was built here in front of the tomb. Now, a little bit to the right of the entrance, where flowers are placed, a place where a arch, stone arch is sat. You can see the rest of this arch on the opposite side, right next to the rolling stone that you will see when you get to the bottom. And by the way, the rolling stone is not the original. It was brought from another tomb so that people would have an idea what a rolling stone would have looked like at the time of Jesus. The original wasn't found here, so we don't know where it is. Now, I want to point out two elements on the outside of the tomb a little bit to the right of the entrance, right over the stone blocks, you can see a little window. I don't know if you can see it. There's a light inside. That window is according to Jewish tradition. In Judaism, we see in the Talmud that has no biblical foundation. It's pure oral law. Torah, I was going to say. It's the place. The third day was the day when the soul departed the body. Now, according to Jewish tradition, that window is known as the soul window. Now, why is this window important? Well, it is important because it possibly points to the fact that this place was owned most likely by a very religious person from a Jewish standpoint. We see in the gospel accounts that the place where Jesus was placed belonged to Joseph of Arimathea, who was a very religious person. He was a member of the Sanhedrin, the Sanhedrin, the religious group responsible for the Jewish life even at the time of Jesus. We see that he was very wealthy and he was very influential. We see in Matthew 27 that he had access to the very presence of Pilate himself. Now, another element, a little bit to the left of the entrance, close to the red flowers, you can see carved into the rock, you will see the symbol of a cross. You can't see it clearly from here, but when you get to the bottom, you will see it on the left-hand side, close to the red flowers. This is a symbol that was used by the Byzantine Christians in the 5th century, but it was also used by the Christians in the 5th century. It is a cross that has the shape of an ancient anchor. The technical name for it is the dissimulata. It's a Latin way of saying that it was a way to disguise the cross, because they would use this symbol to identify with each other, but at the same time they would use this symbol to identify themselves with the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is based on a passage that we read in the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 19, where the author talks about the hope that we have in Christ Jesus as an anchor of the soul. And this is one of my favorite symbols, because the resurrection of Jesus Christ is the foundation of our hope and faith. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, if there is no resurrection, then Christ is not risen. And if Christ is not risen, then our preaching is empty and your faith is void. But in verse 20, Paul says, but Christ is risen from the dead, and he became the first fruit of those who have fallen asleep. Hallelujah. That's the foundation of our hope and faith, the risen Christ. And the Byzantine Christians in the 5th century would use that symbol to identify themselves with this foundational truth. Now, before you go into the tomb, as you can see, there's a lot of people down there, so that gives me more.
We decided to do
I thought you were going to go down. I went down here. Can we get a picture of both of you?
That's not a good one.
Okay, good.
I just want both of you. The backpipe might be a little... The backpipe. There's a pregnant guy with the backpack
Here, video camera.
Little piece of me in Israel? No. Classic, yeah. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, 3, by the way. Back then I was 3. Probably the best picture ever taken.